Hey guys, welcome to the Distinct Mastering YouTube channel. My name is Freddie. If you're checking out this video, you've likely run into some trouble with Waves plugins. Just like me, I had a recent snafu that cost me some time in the studio, and I personally hate that. I also hate the fact that I have to pay for 2 licenses to use on 2 computers. So if you're interested to know more about my issue and what I'm gonna do about it, then check out this video. In the meantime, if you like the song that's playing in the background, it's a new one of mine out on NOS Recordings. It's a full EP called the Gemini 2 EP, so I'll leave you a link to that down below. And I just launched my new memberships, so check me out. I have a YouTube membership and a Patreon membership. On the Patreon this week, I'm gonna be giving away a bunch of my Waves presets. So that's for the members only content. Check that out. If you wanna become a member, I would really appreciate your support. It helps me keep making these videos for you. Now let's talk about the issue that I just had with Waves plugins. Okay, so here's the story. Thanksgiving holiday, got a little busy. My second licenses always come up for expiration. First of all, I hate having to pay for a second license. I run 2 computers. So I have my studio computer here, and then I have a laptop that I go home with and work from home as well as on the road. And unfortunately, with Waves, if you want to use your licenses on 2 computers, you have to pay an additional fee. Now, unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit sick of that, and it caused me a big problem. You might have seen my previous video from years ago on Waves plugins. If not, I'll leave you a link to that down below. I had a situation where my plugins were not exporting, and I was told that I have to use VST3. It just happened all of a sudden after an Ableton update. So as you can tell, the frustration with Waves has been building up, and I think I'm finally gonna do something about it. I did end up paying for the licenses after I lapsed, and I was working from home, and apparently I transferred all my licenses to my laptop, including the ones that were in my studio. So then after the holiday weekend, when I came back here to work, all my licenses here were gone. And you could tell that that's a little bit frustrating. And I finally decided to do something about it. And I took a look at my Waves plugins, and out of this gigantic list of plugins that I have to either pay for because I bought the bundle or just have on my computer for no apparent reason, I really only use 9 plugins. In fact, out of those 9, 6 of them are the only ones that I'm using day to day. Now, I will say, I'm not trying to knock Waves. I just don't like the practices. I love the plugins. I've been using Waves plugins for over 20 years. I was a user of Waves plugins back in the early 2000s. Yes, I've been producing music for that long. Now, some of these plugins are go-tos. They're in my templates. I like their vibe. I like them. Some of them are simple. And we're gonna get into my favorite Waves plugins list that I use day in and day out. And what I'd like to hear from you is if you guys know of any good replacement plugins that you can leave me in the comments. Now let's get into my top Waves plugins list. Okay, the first Waves plugin that I use each and every session, in fact, there's 2 instances of it on my template, is the Waves H delay. And this plugin I've been using for over 20 years. I love the tone, I love the vibe, I know how to use it in and out, I get the delays I want. And one super top secret about this plugin, it has a 2-bar delay, and not every delay unit has that I've seen. So if you got any suggestions to replace H delay, shoot me a comment down below. Obviously there's the Ableton delays. I have a lot of delay plugins, but you know, this one's gonna be easy to replace. I can find another plugin that I like that gives me the easy, even the Ableton ones are fine. But it's just been one of my go-tos for a long time. I like how it has the filter. I like how I can turn off the analog. You know, make sure you turn your analog button off on those Waves plugins if you don't want that hiss. Okay, the second Waves plugin that I absolutely love is the J37. This tape saturation unit is got some character. Now, I've got a bunch of different tape saturations from UAD, and I've got the Ampex, I've got the Studer, but they just don't give me the same vibe. I love using this plugin on acoustic instruments, or if I want something to sound really old school. I will use it in mastering as well sometimes if I do need something to sound more vintage. It's just got some character to it. The wow and the flutter are great, and I haven't found a good replacement for it. So if you got a suggestion, let me know down in the comments. Honorable mention is the Slate stuff. They have a virtual tape machine that's pretty good. That's also sometimes I use. So that might be my next go-to to replace the J37. But this one I'm going to have a hard time parting with if I decide to stop using the Waves plugins. Okay, the next one is an absolute favorite Waves plugin of mine is the Max Bass. I've been using this one for a very long time as well. I have an old video on how to use this thing. I'll leave you a link to that in the description. This plugin is amazing. I use it in mixing. I use it on my bass bus. I use it in mastering if a track needs some extra oomph. It can really help give some vibe and character and get out some lower mids that might be lacking and help cut through laptops and small Bluetooth speakers and things like that. So if you got any suggestions for Max Bass, let me know down in the comments. I have yet to find a plugin that I like that does the same thing and does it as well as Max Bass. Okay, next on the list is S1 Imager. This plugin is a unique one. It's an old school imaging plugin. There's a lot of these on the market. I don't think I'll have a hard time finding a replacement for this one. I know Isotope makes some stuff in the Ozone, and I'm sure there's some free ones out there. I haven't really taken a look, so if you got some suggestions, please let me know down in the comments. I like the simplicity of the S1 Imager, and I know how to get what I need out of it. So that's the hardest part when trying to find new tools is trying to get them to do what you want. If you already know of a tool that gets you there quick, that's the way to go. Okay, the next one on the list is the Waves Sound Shifter. I like to use this on snare builds and things like that when I'm producing music. It's just got an easy ratio knob that's easy to automate and makes the snare build just give it a little bit more character. Other things you could use it for is obviously pitch shifting, but most DAWs can do that anyway. This one will probably not be too hard to find a replacement for, but I'm open to suggestions, so please drop me a comment down below if you've got a good one to replace the S1 Imager. Okay, the next plugin on the list is not one that I use day to day, but I do like this plugin. It's the Waves Tune, but the real-time version. Obviously, Waves Tune has a couple different options of tools you can select from. I had a friend that came in when we were working on a session here, and he used it on some vocals we were doing. And it sounded great, and it was very easy and simple to use. Obviously, I have other pitch correction tools. You know, I have the UAD Auto-Tune. I have the regular Antares Auto-Tune that I haven't updated in a while. And I do have Melodyne. So finding this as a replacement is not going to be too hard, but I'm always open to suggestions. The Waves Real Tune, though, is not something that I'm going to die to lose. Okay, now the next three Waves plugins are the three that I use sometimes. And the first one on the list is the Waves Doubler. This one is something that I've used to use a lot more than I do now. I like to put it on things that I want to make a little bit more wide, but there's a lot of widening tools on the market, like the Polyverse widening tool, which is free, and I made a video on that, so I'll leave you a link down in the description so you can check that one out. But I don't think it's going to be hard to find a replacement for the Waves Doubler. In fact, I'm not even using it as much, but I used to like to use it to put on claps, and I have an old video on how you can do that trick, and I'll leave you a link in the description. If you got any suggestions to replace the Waves Doubler, please shoot me a comment down below. I'd love to hear, open to all suggestions. Okay, next on the list is the Paz Analyzer. I used to use this plugin a lot more. I don't really use it that much these days. I've replaced it out of my template with different spectrum analyzers, including the one that I love the most is the SIR tools, and Voxengo Span I love as well. I use the Voxengo Span for my K-metering. I'll leave you a link to a video on that if you're curious to know what that is. It can really help your mixing. And I like the SIR tool Spectrum. Both of those companies have free versions as well as paid, so check those out. Links down below. If you have any suggestions for other spectrum analyzers on the market, I'd love to hear what's out there, what you guys might use. I have seen Ulean, but I'd love to hear what you guys are using. Drop me a comment down below. And last but not least on the list is the VU meter. If you come from the analog days like me, VU meters are a different style of working, and they're nice to have. Now, I know Klanghelm makes a VU meter. There's two versions of it. One's a cheaper, simplified version, and one's a bit more expensive, so I'll probably move into one of those. But if you have any other suggestions for the VU meter, okay, I hope you found this video useful. I really do want to hear back from you guys. Please shoot me comments down below. Let me know what you're feeling. And remember, check out the membership section. I'm giving away a bunch of my Waves presets that I use day in and day out. And I'm also going to be doing a bunch of member-only content So if you want to become a supporter on YouTube or as well as Patreon, or if you want the extra bonus content, which is the presets and sample packs and things I'm going to give away, then head on over to Patreon and check out the creator package. And I do appreciate your support, so thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. The bell notification will keep you up to date. Share it with a friend, comment below, let the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoyed this, and it helps me keep making you these videos. So until the next video, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.